again! After so long, after so many, such long, fucking how many hours are in the days since the 19th? My throat is a little bit gunky because I just had pizza rolls. Oh no, RNG! You gave us our blessing. Oh, I'm your baby. Jesus. Okay. I got my beverages ready. I know. I know. I'm sorry. I hope. Do you have other friends, RNG? I hope you do. Anyway. Oh, it's finally Monday. I know I could have streamed on Friday, but, like, I woke up late and, like... Leave me alone, I just wanted to use... yeah. What was I saying? Right, I woke up late on Friday, and so I figured, like, I'll wait until Monday. Hello, Straluz! Hello! Do not bite the frogs. Yeah, so I figure right now, I know, the category is indeed set to just chatting. I mean, would y'all Lily Pals like to sit back and enjoy some of the activities that I partook on with my two greatest loves over the past X number of days? Okay, seriously, like how many days ago was it already? They left on the 19th. They came... Like, they left on the morning of the 14th, and they arrived, like, in the wee hours of the 15th. Because it was an 18-hour heckin' drive. Okay, story time, I guess. Okay, so starting from the top. I went to the hotel that we booked ahead of time, even though it was the cheapest hotel in the town, you know, still ran pretty pricey for 5 nights, at Freddy's. But I arrived at the hotel, at around, it's only about a 20-minute drive, and, like, so I think it was around, like, 11:30, 11:45-ish, and basically I had the mission that I imposed upon myself to stay awake until like 3 or 4 a.m. because that was the time when they were going to arrive. By the way, you know, obviously story time is right and proper fun, but I know I do have the SCP wiki up right now, so I don't want to take too terribly long. Otherwise it's false advertising. Anyway. So I waited in the lateness of the dark night, and this is territory I'm already plenty familiar with. I am a night froggy. I would say by nature, but no, it's by habit. But I think that just kind of goes for every VTuber. So I stayed awake in the hotel room, just kind of watching TV and hanging out and doing stuff on my phone and 2DS. I have a 2DS, by the way. And then it reaches like 3 in the morning, 3:30, and I hear, or rather I should preface, like, I've been checking my phone every now and again, checking texts and Discord. We have our own private Discord. You know, of like how far away they were. I would be tempted to take a scolding tone with you, but that kind of describes me too. In a different, like, it's the same description and yet it means something slightly different for the both of us. Anyway, wee hours, I heard a knock on the door. And I strode right up to the door, gently turned the handle. I turned the handle, and the two wonderful, glorious Stellar and Jay were right there on the other side, and apparently, like, Stellar was almost like prepping some kind of poetic or dynamic entrance. Dynamic entry! But, as soon as I opened the door, like, all pretense was lost. She just charged in and pretty much tackled me. And we were in a tight embrace for like 3-5 minutes. It felt like that much. And then obviously I went to hug Jay, and like one of the first things that either one of them said was Jay just telling Stellar, if you're not gonna kiss her, I am. And Stellar kissed me, and then I kissed Jay, and then we smooched, and my big smoocheries. And you know, then obviously we kind of transitioned into like just carrying all the stuff into the hotel room. Y'all both had a lot of bags between you. What it seemed like to me. I only had one. I also had like a case full of DVDs because I could not be sure if the hotel had like a DVD player or not. They didn't, and I forgot to take the case back home, or like send it with my mom or anything until like the day that, yeah, until the day we all actually left. Let me try it. Yeah, I suppose. Let me think. Yeah, so the expectation that the morning of arrival, was obviously we'd hug, we'd smooch a bit, maybe chat very briefly about like maybe the trip up, and then we would all immediately go to bed. And it turns out we we didn't go to bed immediately. We kind of did gay things for the next 2 hours. And then we went to sleep. In which case, as far as our activities went, we kind of played it by ear the whole time. I know that very next morning, my mom came in, because there was like some stuff to figure out regarding like hotel room and payments and like all that stuff. So she had to stop by in the morning, after she dropped me off that night. And so, when she came by, she got to meet Stellar and Jake briefly, and she recommended, like a couple of things we could do, in the local area. I already kind of looked into some possible activities, ahead of time, but, I don't know, it's like, it was hard to gauge, like, how much interest either one of them would have, as well as, almost kind of keep the element of surprise. You know, it's like, they knew virtually nothing about, you know, the local area that I live in, like the local towns and cities and establishments. So again, we kind of resolved to play everything by ear. Speaking of ears, anyway, that next morning, we went to, it was kind of like a cafe for, it was just barely breakfast. Like, we kind of slept in a bit. Oh, I know you miss Shade. I'll get to Shade, in time. Anyway, yeah, we had breakfast. I had like a veggie scramble, and, you know, obviously it was kind of pricey, so we didn't go there every morning. But one place we did frequently go was this little coffee shop just called Joe to Go, and it's literally just like this small little building, this tiny little kitchen, like coffee, barista place thing. It's really cute, and it doesn't really have like a designated property so much as it's just like there in a parking lot. Obviously I assume like they're there legally, like, but anyway, the best part, aside from the coffee, was that this shop was run by a lesbian couple, as well as a few other peeps that worked along with them. And, like, as far as, I think as far as, Stellar and Jay were concerned, like, hearing who ran this little shop was, like, enough motivation to just, hey, let's go. Like, let's go get some frickin' coffee. We all love coffee. Yeah, so we literally, stopped by that place every morning, except for one, because they were closed that day, and I believe that was Sunday. And, let's see, I think later that day, we decided to head to one of the other nearby cities, to visit I don't know why I'm trying to censor like the location when anybody can just look this up, but basically we went to the Mall of America in St. Paul. We weren't there for very long, mainly because like it was so big and there was so much. Like, we didn't really have much of a plan of what kind of stores we really wanted to go to, nor did we have any idea what all kinds of shops there were. Like, you know, I visited it multiple times, and yet I can't even remember all the shops that are in it. Jeez. And there were quite a lot of people, yeah. But the 3 places we did go to, there was definitely a plan. I don't know if you're being sarcastic. But the 3 like shops that we went to, the first one we headed to was Build-A-Bear, because I've never been to Build-A-Bear, and I've never gotten anything from there. So that was a really good experience. I found my first how do I say it? Oh, Build-A-Bear was planned. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think only that much was planned though. So basically, I have an adopted little Froggy sister now. Her name is Gwyn, Gwyn, and she is adorable, and she smells like cotton candy. And I love her very much. I will get around to actually bringing her on stream, I think, because, yes, Frog. Actually, before I continue, I'm just gonna quickly change up the title. Okay, it should be updated now. Alright. I know in the past, like, I say, like, I'm only gonna do or talk about this thing for a little bit, but at the rate I'm going right now, I'm preparing ahead of time. But anyway. Yeah, first we went to Build-A-Bear. I got my Froggy sister. Jay got Stitch. And then Stellar got a Leafeon with a little skirt and with a little pressable thing. You squeeze their paws and they talk and they cry Leafeon. It's very cute, very precious. Sadly, I don't remember their names other than Stitch. And then the next shop we went to was a boba shop, because I have never had boba prior to that point. And when I got it, I mean, we ended up waiting for quite a while, but it seemed like it was a relatively like small shop, so you know, it seemed like employees were a bit on the short side, in short order. So yeah, we had to wait a while, but the boba that I got was, I remember it was lychee, with a bunch of different fruits inside, and then the little globules were like poppable strawberry flavored things, and I sipped it and it was really good. I know when at some point, like it got kind of difficult to drink through, like with all the bits of cut up fruit, so I didn't technically finish it, but it was good. It was really good. I enjoyed myself. And then the last shop I believe we went to was Hot Topic, because of course. Lots of boba the whole time? Not really. I only had that one boba, through, like, the whole experience, unless you mean something else. But yeah, we went to Hot Topic. I got a couple of shirts. One of them was like a, like pride flag, like witch crystal kind of deal. It was really cool. And you do mean something else. And I also got an oversized t-shirt of Hatsune Miku. And I'm using it, or I used it. It's in my hamper now because it needs to be cleaned. It was oversized, but it was really comfy, so I used it as like a sleep/lounging shirt, and I really like it. And then I think it was Jay that also got me little Froggy stickers. Little Froggy stickers. I'd have to double check my bags. I still have like the paper bag from one of the places we went to. I'd have to check in there if I have them. But I got Froggy stickers and they were so good. There was also a Froggy shirt, and I was really torn up about whether I got that shirt or the Pride Crystal shirt. But I went with the Pride Crystal shirt because I figured I think I supply plenty of frogginess by myself already. Also my little sister. Okay. So after Hot Topic, I think that was it. Again, it wasn't a very short stay, or it wasn't a very long stay. And we went out, and if I remember right, later that night, that was the night that we decided to have a night picnic, and our foods of choice was Taco Bell. I got a couple of quesadillas. I can't remember what the both of them got, but honestly, like, I like my quesadillas. Hello, Swerve Star! Welcome, welcome! Happy to have you here! I'm talking about, my vacation, my gaycation, with the two people I love the absolute most. I just covered day 1 of 5. Let's see. Night picnic with Taco Bell. We were enjoying ourselves, and here's where it gets good, y'all. So while we were there, me and Jay, like, well ahead of this little stay, this little vacation, me and Jay kind of schemed a little bit. So what we did, or what we planned, was basically, after giving them my blessing to do so, because like, obviously I would, schemes. Basically the plan was Jay wanted to propose to Stellar at some point during the stay, and they wanted me to be involved with it somehow. And so what I did was I picked out a relative locale for where it could happen, and yes, marriage. I chose this, like this little, like long, extended walk-through park, right beside the St. Croix River, because it's kind of a big place for someone who lives locally, because it's basically the distinguishing factor between the separation of Wisconsin and Minnesota. It's literally just the river. You cross the bridge, you're headed to Minnesota in quick order. But also, the park itself was just really pretty, and I remember, like, I used to go there quite a few times with both my grandma and my dad, not at the same time, but like with my grandma we would feed the ducks, and with my dad I would go night fishing on the docks. So yeah, it's a place that I have fond memories of, and I'm pretty sure they both enjoyed that place too. So anyway, back to the night picnic. I had my phone out as soon as I knew what was happening. Which, by the way, I have a new phone now! I have it out right now. I had it ready in case I could, so like I could keep track of chat while I was reading SCPs, but it's kind of redundant at the moment. And thank you, Jay, I will give you your stream frog. Oh, hang on. Apparently I don't have them on this scene. Add existing. Purple frog. Starts out tiny. Let's make big. Could sit right on the bubble. Right on the bubble. And yeah. Good call. Good call. I like your thinking. The frogs closer together. Okay. And then next I will get Stellar's frog. They're probably not going to be exactly the same size, but I can quickly change it. It's close enough. For the moment, I'll set them down here, and then I'll yeah. Okay, so we were at the night picnic in the river park, and I was just eating Taco Bell, and I slowly got my phone out as I figured out what was happening, because I was looking over at Jay, and they were starting to kind of semi-wax poetic a little bit, aimed directly at Stellar. So, in my head, I didn't say a thing, because I knew, like, that gotta carry this through to the end. This has to happen. It is foretold. Meanwhile, Stellar, I'm pretty sure she kind of started to pick up on the vibe, like, started to pick up on the vibe pretty quickly. It was okay! You did great! Yeah, so I had my phone out. I took one picture, as Jayla's, like, saying their oath, and Stellar was just, like, absolutely floored. Figuratively. And then when all was said and done, they both moved off of the bench that we were all sitting at. Jay knelt down, Stellar stood up, and Jay said, "Will you marry me?" And then after a lot of internal screaming, I bet, but of joy, most assuredly of joy, Stellar was like, "Yeah, I will marry you," and now they're both engaged. And I was there to archive the entire ordeal. Okay, now you can both go on top of the bubble. Right, there. Yeah, it was adorable! I'm so glad I got to help. It was your idea. Thank you, Swerve, for becoming a lily pal. Yeah, so that night, as soon as we finished our Taco Bell, we went right back to the hotel, and all the drive-through, you know, Stellar was just kind of stun-locked. And it was great and fantastic. Our plan succeeded! And then, yeah, that night then we all went to bed at some point. And then the next morning, day two. Was that the day that we got Denny's for breakfast? Basically at one point we got breakfast from Denny's because they were a bit cheaper than the last place we went to. And I in particular was hankering for something sweet, something really sweet. And so like my brain immediately went to like pancakes or waffles. Okay, it was day two. You know, it's just something like all fluffy and sweet. just like my two loves. When Izzy started to engage, looks around, shifty eyes. Anyway, so we got Denny's. I remember, I think we all, well, me and Jay at least got pretty much the same thing. I forget what exactly it was, but it was like super sweet pancakes and stuff. And one thing you gotta know about me, I have an insanely powerful sweet tooth. Like, you know how your threshold for handling sweetness kind of doesn't exist when you're a child? Mine just never came into existence. Cinnamon roll pancakes, that's it. Yeah, they were super sweet. I don't think you were able to finish. I was able to finish mine. But like Jay handed the remains of their pancakes to Stellar. I wasn't sure if Stellar could handle that much sweetness either. But also, we decided to eat again at the same park that we did that previous night, because now it was daytime and you could properly see the river and the water and just kind of see the place all over, and yeah. What got us amongst more. Yeah, but my sweet tooth is the sweetest, the most divine, the most godliest. And then, after breakfast, what do we do? I thought it was... I don't think it was until day 3 that we went to the Science Museum, right? And, like, I know it was the semi-final day that we decided to just kind of chill at the hotel. Think. Oh, we did Science Museum that day, okay. So yeah, we went to the Science Museum. I've gone there quite a few times. Okay. You wanted to nap, but we decided a museum instead. I think my first idea for what we could do that day was going to the zoo, but you weren't too into zoos, so we decided to go to the Science Museum instead. But also, I think you just wanting to nap kind of permeated all throughout the vacation. So yeah, we went to the Science Museum, we got some stuff from the gift shop. I know there was quite a lot of interesting stuff that I didn't actually see in my past visits. You know, they're hot and smelly when we all rather science. But I love the aminals! I like animals, especially if they're exotic. But anyway, like... yes, I like seeing other froggies. At the Science Museum, there was a couple of exhibits that, like, were always there. Like, there was, like, stuff regarding the local wildlife, and, like, anything involving, like, the forests and woods around the area, as well as the river. We saw a lot of shells. RNG, don't beat me to that part, okay? Also, yes, my house is a zoo. Of course she would. Anyway, we saw a bunch of shells. There was also, like, this, like, built-in, like towboat sort of exhibit deal. Like, you could see it from the outside and the inside. The inside is very cramped, though. It can barely fit any 3 people in it. Busy hands, mind you. Okay, there was also, there were also dinosaurs, dinosaur bones, because of course. It was primarily like a natural history museum, or natural science museum, more than anything else. I know they didn't currently have, or they didn't at the time have, a, like, major exhibit that was, like, limited time. Dinosaurs! Yes! But some of the exhibit areas that I hadn't seen before, well, first of all, some of the other consistent exhibits also involve, like, physics, electricity, some gadgetry. I know there was, like, a wave generator that Stellar really got into. And then Jay did this little activity thing with magnets and having to construct things out of, like, construct cubes out of triangles and, like, make it stable. There was also a thing like right across from it, like just right adjacent, that Stellar tried to work on. That was like, hey, can you make this bridge work? Like, figure out how to put bridges together. Yeah, it's really cool. There's also a simulator for how tornadoes work. That's one of my favorite bits. Like, literally, it's just like a smoky air sort of thing that's filtered through like this upper like wind tube, and like there are these panels you can shift around to manipulate like the winds that swirl around and simulate a mini tornado. It's really cool. Okay, so as for the exhibits that I didn't see personally before, there was sports science. Like, yeah, basically it's exactly what it sounds like, the science behind a bunch of sports. I know there was one bit where like it was just this little track and you could choose like different figures, and you had to see if you could run faster than any of them. I know Jay picked like some sort of sports mascot, and Stellar picked a T-Rex. And it was really cool. And then I saw like some other person come up and try to outrun a basketball player. There was also like someone from the Special Olympics, I think. Humans are in fact faster than T-Rexes. Citation needed. Like for reference, Stellar, my wifey Stellar, has long legs. She is 6'4". Sure. But anyway, yeah, when she tried to outrun the T-Rex, like she was close. Like the T-Rex was mainly just like walking, I think. Like, you know, just huge steps. And or at the very least, like, it wasn't like running. Actually love the link to the citation. Well, there it is. It's from the Smithsonian. I will keep that in my tabs. I know one other thing that I remembered was this sort of basketball thing where they suspended a bunch of balls. They weren't all precisely basketballs, but they were like hard texture balls, and they were suspended at like multiple heights. I think divided by feet, like I think divided by a half foot, like all the way up to, I think it was like 12 feet high. Or was it more? I can't remember. It was really high up though. And like you basically what you had to do was you had to jump and see like what the tallest, like if you could reach like the tallest ball possible. I can't remember what my limit was. Obviously Stellar's was it was 12, okay. Wait. Are you saying like it was like 12 at the highest, or was it like 12 feet that I hit? because like 12 was the first number I came up with, but I'm also thinking it might have been 16. 12 was the max. Okay. Yeah, I don't think. Okay, yeah, Stellar got 9. I think my max was like 6.5. No. Granted, I was wearing flip-flops at the time, so it was a bit hard to jump. But I don't know. Like, it couldn't have been 6.5. It had to be more than that. Maybe like 8. 8 or 8.5. Yeah. Because obviously, if it was 6.5, like, that would be a puny jump, and that would be nearly as tall as Stellar is. I jump high. And then I know a few other exhibits actually, that I think were still temporary, but they weren't like a major exhibit like they sometimes hold. One of them was phony science and like phony inventions. Obviously things like phrenology were on there. There were also a myriad of like supposed weight loss machines. There was just this seat where you sat in it, and like it was an invention where people believed that vibrations could help you lose weight. So they literally just invented a chair that was pretty much like the prototype to a massage chair. Except it wasn't therapeutic, obviously. Like, it just vibrated like really thoroughly. And it just kind of made your butt feel weird. And yes, I know what I'm contributing to. There was also, of course, did I mention, like, there was a thing on phrenology? That was included. Yeah, and then there was, like, a few sections, like, with little information boards. Little information boards that describe, like, hey, what makes, like, good evidence or, like, good scientific method practicing, like, how to, like, properly express skepticism into, like, the kinds of science stuff and experiments you conduct, you know, and also, like, trying to figure out, like, how much bias might be playing into some of the faulty conclusions that were made way back when. Doubt everything, that's the philosopher way. And hello, Dival! Yes, I am describing my vacation, my gaycation, with my wifeys, Stellar and Jay, that I had, I keep wanting to say last week, but, well, 7 days ago, that would be the 18th, so yeah, technically a week ago. It would have been the later half of it, but anyway, that was one of the exhibits that I think were completely new. And then there was also 2 exhibits that were kind of merged together. Like, one side was one thing, and then you would walk along and head into the other, and vice versa. The first exhibit was space, like astronaut stuff in particular. You know, what you kind of deal with, like, when you're up in, say, the International Space Station. And, like, what kinds of things and expectations there were to uphold and have on board, like, in a zero-gravity environment. There was a whole thing of, like, vacuum-sealed food. and it was really something. But also there was like this this little simulation station where, you know, the entire space station only has like so much power every 24 hours or so. But of course, a lot of the energy comes from solar power, from solar panels. So like the simulation was you had to like manage like what kind, like when and to what kind of things you should put battery power into versus if you could power them with solar energy. And it was kind of like a balancing act, but it was really cool. Another thing was like it went partly into how in astronaut suits, you know, when you actually go physically out into the vacuum of space, how that kind of, how you would expect to like feel, like how you could move around and sort of orient yourself, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when astronaut suits enter space, they kind of inflate, and like it does have to do with like the compensation between like having a vacuum and something being like air sealed and stuff. So like if you like, what am I trying to say? I don't know, it's like they had this little glove that you could put your hand into, and the little chamber had like this little cube in it that you could pick up, and you could change the little glass chamber to either be pressurized or depressurized to simulate the vacuum of space. And so like when you put your hand in at like regular pressure here on Earth, obviously you could move your fingers all out and about and pick up the cube like no problem. Whereas in the vacuum of space, it's actually more difficult because of the suit's inflation. But it was really cool. Stellar got her hand stuck at one point, and we solved that problem just by, like, I just pressed the button to activate the inflation. And it was really cool. I know there was also little diagrams about like what the spacesuits were made of, and there's a heckin' lot of layers in that thing, y'all. There are so many layers. So many layers you'd think it was an onion. Oh no, sorry, an ogre. But then the next exhibit, we stayed. Well, I can't exactly tell if we stayed in the space one or this next exhibit longer, but the exhibit right next to the astronaut stuff was the science regarding race, and essentially like tackling questions like how different are human beings from each other really, you know, and obviously like they held a lot of no, not that kind of race. Yeah, but basically like there were a lot of pictures of people that were all of like mixed race, and mixed ethnicities, and like there was like, it was kind of meant to challenge observers, like how much can you actually tell about a person's background and racial identity just based on looks alone. And like it was really cool. I wish I got to internalize a bit more. I know there was also like some showcasing of like early human stuff, like stone tools, and then like some native garments, or like some clothes that indigenous peoples would make and wear for different occasions. And I believe they were from different parts of the world. I don't think they were all strictly Native American. Oh yeah, there was also like giant stone carvings like you would find like in Machu Picchu, and that was really cool. Genetic difference we actually have, yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's essentially like taking a scientific perspective to like kind of dissuade people from racism. So it was a good exhibit, if like conceptually a bit somber, but it was good. And then after that we got stuff at the gift shop. Oh right, one thing I forgot was when we first came in, there was like this national park ranger little area that was kind of similar to like the natural wildlife exhibit stuff that was like there to begin with. But the best part of that area was there was a simulation, like literally like a video projection and like 3D computer simulation where basically you had to stand in a spot, and right above you was this camera, and the camera would track like your positioning and stuff. In the simulation you would be playing as a bald eagle, and the aim was that you had to maneuver yourself and like flap your wings with your actual body. And you know, the goal of the simulation was really simple. Like, you played as a bald eagle in, you know, the river, with like flying above the local area, and most importantly above the river, and like you had to fly down and catch a fish, and then you had to fly it back to the nest, and then that was it. But it was really fun. Bald eagle, how American can you be? It was cool though. I love like doing aerial simulation things. I've gotten pretty good at it. Like, as far as like orientation goes, like I could bank myself pretty well. You specifically had to flap your arms if like you wanted to speed up, and then like if you started to dive down, like a lot of the simulations, like polygons, were like single digits, so or like double digits at best. So it looked very, very basic, but the point was delivered. And like, so like the actual eagle you were playing as, like if you were diving down, like the wings would kind of fold in a bit, even though like the actual wings were nothing more than just flat rectangular cubes. But again, it was really fun. As far as stuff that I got from the museum's gift shop was, I got a pack of gummy dinosaurs, and they were really good. And when I figured out, or when I learned that Jay really liked Triceratops, I literally, like, anytime I found a Triceratops in my bag of gummies, I would give it to them. And of course, they got a Triceratops plushie, because, yes. I also got a thing of rock candy. Rock candy I really like. I really like the rocky sugar. I also got this little small book. I also got. Yeah, give a jelly baby. I also got a mood ring that surprisingly actually fits me. See, I have very long, slender fingers. Like, the circumference of my ring finger is puny. But I'm really glad that I could find a mood ring that would fit it really nice and snugly. I really like mood rings and like mood jewelry and accessories. And then I also got a little book because what was really cool was that the gift shop had this little section that was dedicated entirely to Pride stuff. Like a lot of books and stuff that covered like LGBTQ plus topics and subjects, and of course there was a bunch of apparel and stuff. It was really cool, and so what I got from there was this little book about possible places to go and visit and like have vacations that are distinctly or like notably friendly for LGBTQ folks. And I wanted to have that on hand in case, in case the day ever comes, in case of, like, when the day ever comes that I am with my wifeys for the long term and we want to, like, go somewhere and vacation somewhere without having to worry so much about shit. So I thought that would be really good to have. So that was the Science Museum. We had a good time. I think out of all of us, Jay enjoyed themselves the most. It was adorable. So naturally, around, like all around the course of the vacation, obviously we were taking pictures, and so my mom would message me like, make sure I get pictures of all of us, all three of us together. And so like I was like, okay. And it kind of morphed into this little joke that we would play with her, where I think the first picture of all of us together was like the morning at the park. We went over to a bench to sit down, and I remembered, oh right, we should take a picture of all of us together. And so I snapped a photo with all of our faces into it, and then I sent it to Mom, and she was like, like, that's really cute, but Stellar seems to be kind of obscured by your hair. Because I have like really kind of curly and semi-frizzy hair. So some of it did kind of cover up Stellar's face. And so obviously we resolved to do a little better whenever we got the chance. I think one other time was that, I forget if it was at the Mall of America or someplace else, where we all did the same thing, and we were wearing masks because we were out in a big public space and everything. And so we took the picture, and Juno wasn't obscured. Well, wait, no. No, it started at the Mall of America, And then it was at the park, because Mom first said, you know, she wanted pictures of all of us without our masks on, and then it turned into like masks that didn't obscure anyone's face. So what we decided to do was be a little teasy about it, and so we took a bunch of pictures in the Science Museum and stuff, where we would take a handful of pictures, literally with Stellar obscured by someone or something. And like those would be the first photos that we would send to her. And then we would follow up with like real genuine pictures, and it was funny. Okay, yeah, so that was day 2. Day 3. I wonder if I kind of have my days a bit mixed up, because I think we planned, or at least the expectation was 5 days, but I think we actually only vacationed for 4. Because I think the day after, like day 3, I think that was the chill day, that we didn't really go anyplace fancy or exciting. We just kind of wanted to spend time with each other in the hotel, as well as like get some stuff like from the grocery store, so that we wouldn't have to keep eating out everywhere and whittling away our money. And all of us kind of felt like a unique sense of euphoria in the grocery shopping. Like, we're doing something mundane all together. It's so... Audible wanking, yeah. But yeah, I think what we did was... Oh, right, the night of day 2, I know we did a spot of gaming, because they both brought their Switches, you know, while I brought my 2DS. Was it just Jay that brought their 3DS, or did both of you bring yours? I don't remember, but I do know you both brought your Switches. And we played Mario Party that night, and like we played the game modes. Yeah, our gaming devices. Okay, so we played Mario Party, and we only played the game modes that had some involvement with co-op. Actually brought 2 3DS, don't I? Like, I know at one point, like when we played the game mode where we would split up into 2 teams, like, obviously there was only 3 of us, so, like, 2 of us had to be on one team, and then the other had to be on a team with the computer, like with an AI. And the first time, or like for that first night, I was the one that got paired up with the bot, and it was Waluigi, and there was a little bit of suffering. And then, we did end up playing again, on the chill day. This time I was teamed up with, I believe it was Jay. Yeah, I teamed up with Jay, and we played a fair amount. And then I know, Stellar, showed the demo for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak to me, because she didn't have like the full game just yet, only the demo. And we had to download the demo on Jay's Switch too, so we could actually play together. It was interesting. Like, I'm definitely not used to, like, playing on a Switch. I'm definitely more adapted to playing on a 2DS. Which, in case you're curious, the copies of Monster Hunter that I own are, I have Freedom Unite on the PSP. I also have Portable Third, which is Japanese only, that I borrowed from somebody I knew in high school, and I just forgot to ever give it back. And then for the 3/2DS, I have Tri Ultimate, I have 4 Ultimate, and then Generations. I also had Tri on the Wii, and that was my first Monster Hunter game. And then and then I also got Monster Hunter World for PS4, and by that time my littlest brother got into the series himself, so it wasn't me that actually got Iceborne, it was him. So that was kind of a nice freebie. Yeah, I have quite a few MH titles. Anyway, day 3, grocery shopped, played the Switch, napped. I don't think we did much else. And then oh, right. At some point we did go to I can't remember if it was on day 3 or earlier day 4. No, it wasn't earlier day 4. Okay. Yeah, day 4. Bunnies! So, what we did primarily for that day is I talked to my mom a bit through text, and, I was basically asking if it would be possible to just kind of drive on over to my house and kind of see around it a bit. And of course meet all the family fur babies. I know, yeah, the animals were primarily Jay's, reason to want to visit, but, I also kind of wanted to better introduce the two of them to my mom. She and my little brother were the only ones home at the time. And so, we kind of chatted together, for a little while, and, yeah, they met, my 3 dogs. My 3 dogs are, Augie, Matilda, and Fitz. Augie is a Sheltie. Matilda and Fitz are Corgis. Matilda was kind of barky and, kind of standoffish while they were around. So, they only saw her briefly under my mom's watchful care. And then I have 2 bunnies named Shade and Twitch. Hi, Jeff Bezos. yeah, so Mom brought the both of them in from their cages. Shade was a lot more docile. Like, just generally is better around people than Twitch. And, of course, they can't share common space because they fight. But Shade and Jay were like a match made in heaven. They both absolutely adored each other. So much, in fact, that the morning when they were set to leave, which was the following morning of that day, like, literally when they were dropping me off at my house, Jay was like, can I just see Shade one last time? And yeah, of course, we couldn't say no. And then they also got to see one of our ducks and one of our chickens, because we have 3 ducks, and I think, like, I know it started at 12, but now I think it might be like 11 or maybe 10 chickens. Yeah, he remembered you. And then after that point, Jay was literally like, send me pictures of Shade once every week, as well as myself. I still have to get around to that. Right now, I'm due for a shower. I would have taken one, like, yesterday-ish, but I ended up having to join in with a visit to grandmother's, so I only had enough time to either shave or shower, but not both. And I was in desperate need of a shave, so that's what I did. So now I still have to shower. Probably do it tonight. And yeah, like, it was a really cool, really nice visit. My mom would say stuff like, you know, she was so happy that I had a couple of incredibly loving and caring and supportive wifeys. And then all the same, like, the both of them thought my mom was just the coolest. They didn't really get to see my little brother. Like, it was only for a brief moment, and only just because he got up out of his room, which I kind of forewarned that might be the case. He tends to keep to himself a lot. But yeah. And then my stepdad was at work at the time, so... I love you! And then the last thing we did, that same day, like before the morning of departure, we went to a place nearby that's really famous for its cheese curds. Again, I already, like, kind of semi-doxed myself, but, like, it was the, Ellsworth cheese curd factory place? Yes, a lot of cheese. I think we got, like, literally a small bag of each type. Like, we got regular, we got, taco, we got, hot buffalo, we got garlic, dill pickle, which Jay wasn't a fan of, And then we got some Ritz crackers and some dip, which I can't... Port wine, that's what it was. Like port wine cheese dip. And it was really interesting. Good. But of course, all these cheese curds were the refrigerated type. Minus the bacon one, okay. Oh yeah, and then I just got myself, or you guys got for me, just like a little snack bag of like little cheese cubes with little bits of sausage, which the first sausage I bit into, for some reason, was so spicy. And like, the rest of them were not. So like, I was really off-put by that. It wasn't anything I couldn't deal with, but like, it gave me a shock. Yes, we didn't get bacon because Jay is a vegetarian. And then, oh yeah, we also got the pizza one. That's it. And then later, like later that night, at my mom's suggestion, we wanted to try cheese curds that were hot, or like baked, and so my mom said the best place we could go to is a place called the Agave Kitchen, which I don't know, I wouldn't expect it to be like one of like major chains. It seems like a very local business. But yeah, we got like the big cheese curds from there, and they were super good as always. Oh right, I also introduced them to a local delicacy that I've been informed of early in my life. So there's this other like taco restaurant chain place called Taco John's. Not nearly as popular as Taco Bell. But one thing that the Taco John's in this town had, like, the best part was not actually their tacos or burritos. It was these tater tot like things called potato olays, and they are like the best form of tater tot that ever existed. Like, they're properly crispy, very flavorful, and just addictive. We all, I think, got our own bowls. And then I ate mine just regular, but I know Stellar and Jay got, I know one of them was sour cream. I don't remember if there was like a second sauce that y'all got. But yeah, as soon as they bit into it, it was like, they were like, thank you for sharing this with us. Like, these are so good. And that was great. And then, of course, all great things have to come to an end. The following morning of day 4 was the day they started their drive back. 18 hours back home to Georgia. And yeah, tears were had. I think I ended up being more emotional the night before than I actually did in the moment or after the fact, but I was still like emotional after the fact. I still kind of teared up a little bit. Like, I already missed them both so much. Babes, I'm gonna cry again. Alright. But yeah, from day 1 to 4. Yeah, gay tears, very gay. Yeah, they were had because I love you. And my overall impression of myself is yeah, I don't generally think of myself as a very confident person. I am leagues better than I was. Yeah, but yeah, the gay tears. But yeah, 4 days of gayness with my wifeys. And don't worry, folks, because even though that trip is over, we are planned, anticipating, promising a sequel. A sequel, and then a sequel after that, and then perhaps another sequel after that, but eventually it will become permanent. It will. It is foretold. So that was Issy's gaycation, whichever you prefer. All the gay days. I'm also gonna say, like, I actually ended up with a crap load of cash that between all three of us, I think I spent the least for myself or like for anything else. I know, like, I paid for my own gifts at the Science Museum, and then I also helped to pay for the coffee at one point. I think I paid for one other thing too, like to just do like a cover all of us kind of deal. I can't remember. But yeah, it was a fantastic Froggy time. I enjoyed myself more than I could have imagined. And of course, many intense gays were had. I will not go into any explicit detail, because I brand myself as mostly PG-13. But, you know, it was great. That's all I'll say. So I think it might be time for SCPs now. What do y'all think? I still have the wiki page, front page open. Yeah. For anybody who's come by, that might be new and lurking or not, Origami Green's time. For the record, I don't usually have like a set plan ahead of time for what SCPs I end up reading. I just kind of do whatever I would vibe with best. It usually goes into just like random, like I just click the random SCP link and just read off whatever I get. But RNG, how about you suggest the origami cranes to start us off? I will swap the pages into so. Which, by the way, everybody, SCP-7000, like, is already... Apparently there was recently a contest for 7000, and, it's coming. It's a-coming. Apparently it's in the judging period. Oh, and then some new fan arts. I like this. I always like these kind of lineless styles. They're really charming. Ooh, a Sarkic seal? In ketchup? Holy shit. That is so good. That also looks kind of tasty. Oh, and then the SCP that you're not supposed to describe in anything other than symbols. I know that SCP is a really big fan favorite. 4393. Gotcha. Da-da-da. Well, ha. Alright. I was about to put my headphones on, but I realized that there's no point. I don't have any audio that I can listen to. Alright. I still have my phone, with Twitch chat open. Let me see if I can, like, finagle its position a bit. So, there we go. It's just behind my microphone. I can see it straight with a twist of my head. Phone chat, let's go! Alright. SCP-4393, with a rating of 71, and a colored and restored image. Object class was Euclid and is now neutralized. Special containment procedures, irrelevant. See incident, May 23rd, 1959. Been archived. Containment procedures. SCP-4393 is to be contained in standard containment chamber in Site-125 and is to be continuously provided with a fresh supply of square paper measuring 15 by 15 centimeters. Only paper below 15 grams per square or per meter squared? Below 50 grams per meter squared. I don't know if I'm reading that right. I'm American. Can be given to SCP-4393 to slow down the rate of degradation. Any attempt to unfold the entity is prohibited as it may cause unforeseen, irreversible damage. All SCP-4393-1 instances are to be captured and stored in a standard airtight padded containment chamber. Description: SCP-4393 is a sentient origami crane made of matte golden paper, showing visible wear and degradation, particularly at its creases. SCP-4393 is capable of flight and spends most of its time searching for paper suitable for the creation of origami cranes. SCP-4393 uses its two relatively manipulative pointed wings to fold the paper accordingly. Depending on the paper's thickness and due to its lack of dexterous digits, the creation of one origami crane will take SCP-4393 2 to 5 hours to finish. Origami cranes folded by SCP-4393 become sentient and will be collectively referred to as SCP-4393-1. Instances are capable of flight and will immediately attempt to escape upon gaining sentience. All SCP-4393-1 instances have the physical properties of paper and can be easily destroyed, either deliberately or accidentally. Directly handling SCP-4393 or destroying an instance of SCP-4393-1 triggers an aggressive response from all instances of SCP-4393. Mistyped the number. Marked by a mobbing behavior toward the personnel. An anti-predatory behavior utilized by several bird species in which individuals of prey species mob a predator by cooperatively attacking or harassing it. We could assume, but to be sure. However, due to their lack of physical strength, a single or group of SCP-4393-1 instances pose no immediate danger and can easily be removed and contained. Contained SCP-4393-1 instances will continually collide with the walls of their containment cell, possibly as an attempt to escape. Instances will repeat this behavior until they are immobilized by the damage caused. If SCP-4393 is prevented from creating SCP-4393-1 instances, it will display self-destructive behavior similar to that of previously created instances in containment. Restricting its movement also triggers destructive behavior, resulting in tears and further degradation, particularly at its creases. SCP-4393 was discovered on December 25, 1955, Christmas, when a researcher caught SCP-4393 using a document to create an SCP-4393-1 instance. As of March 4, 1957, there are a total of 3,958 contained SCP-4393-1 instances created by SCP-4393. Incident May 23, 1959. On that date, at exactly 19:55 or 7:55 p.m., SCP-4393 ceased movement and was confirmed to be neutralized, possibly due to substantial degradation. Prior to this, SCP-4393 was in the process of folding another SCP-4393-1 instance. Immediately after its neutralization, all contained SCP-4393-1 instances were observed to halt their movement and begin dropping on the floor. Several seconds later, all instances began shaking before flying and aggregating in the center of its containment chamber. The rotating swarm of SCP-4393-1 instances accelerated before simultaneously colliding with and breaking the wall of its chamber, resulting in the destruction of nearly a third of the swarm. A Level 3 containment breach was issued. The escaped instances then proceeded to the location of SCP-4393 and incapacitated personnel through mobbing behavior. 4 of the SCP-4393-1 instances approached and finished the uncompleted origami crane, which immediately gained sentience. The SCP-4393-1 instances began to aggregate again, with the inert SCP-4393 at their center. The aggregate momentarily collapsed in on itself, creating a loud shockwave composed of multiple crane calls, which instantaneously caused all paper within 60 meters to fold itself into SCP-4393-1 instances. The swarm, estimated to be composed of nearly 20,000 SCP-4393-1 instances, began to move in a westerly fashion at a speed of 1,200 kilometers an hour, leaving the still inert SCP-4393. As most of the destroyed documents had digital backups, there was no substantial loss of data. However, the SCP-4393-1 instances made of confidential Foundation documents posed a significant security data risk, which immediately upgraded the incident into a Level 7 Alpha-1 containment breach. 5 Foundation aircraft intercepted and engaged the SCP-4393-1 swarm above the center of the Pacific Ocean, resulting in the destruction of nearly half of the swarm. The surviving SCP-4393-1 instances began mobbing the aircraft, destroying 3 of them and severely damaging the other 2, which were ordered to retreat. The surviving SCP-4393-1 instances continued their flight path, which was observed to head toward the islands of Japan. Site-33 on Hokkaido, Japan was alerted of the oncoming swarm. Over a quarter of the SCP-4393-1 instances escaped a second attack launched from Site-33 and headed towards the Fukuoka Prefecture. The SCP-4393-1 instances gathered on the burial site of Sadako Sasaki before becoming inert. Hibakusha, or a Japanese term meaning bomb-affected person. She is known for her attempt in curing her radiation-induced leukemia by folding 1,000 origami cranes, which was believed to grant the folder a wish. Records state that she managed to fold over 1,000 origami cranes before her eventual death on October 25, 1955, at the age of 12. I knew that story, but just in case anyone didn't. All the instances were removed and civilian witnesses were amnesticized. The incident was successfully covered up with no further complications. Update SCP-4393. Prior to the permanent storage of SCP-4393, a text written by an unknown individual in Japanese was found within SCP-4393. Translated into English, the text is transcribed below. If 1,000 cranes failed to save you, maybe 1,000 more may bring you back. Their hate may have taken you away, but our love to you will forever stay. May you be happy where you reside, though I prefer you still being by my side. And then this is a picture of the swarm. Supposedly. That's really sweet. And sad. Good one. Good one. Alright. It's much shorter but peaceful origami birds as well. Okay. SCP-368. With a rating of 257, not bad. SCP-368. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-368 has not yet warranted any need for containment. Though it has the movement patterns and behavior common to a normal bird, neither it nor any of its copies, see Addendum, have shown any desire to migrate from the offices in which they are stored. Description: SCP-368 is an animated origami crane folded from ornate heavy stock paper. Left to its own devices, it will perch, preen, fly from platform to platform, groom, and occasionally construct a makeshift nest out of nearby office supplies. It responds to human touch affectionately, much as a domesticated bird would. The item's demeanor is, on the whole, friendly, and it has been observed to perch on the shoulders of various SCP personnel. Though the item needs no source of nourishment, it appears to sleep at night in that it places its head under its wing. Studying the physical properties of SCP-368 has proven difficult. The item seems to interpret attempts to capture or contain it as a game, and has displayed considerable agility and resourcefulness in evading even the most focused attempts at containment. How SCP-368 stays airborne and maintains its stability while airborne are still not known. History: SCP-368 was discovered in an office building in blank Japan in 19-blank. Blank blank, now employed as 14-1158, a former employee at the aforementioned building, found the item in a closet full of office supplies. Upon discovery of SCP-368, 14-1158 managed to gain its trust in order to move it to a more secure location. Psychological evaluations of 14-1158 indicated her to be of sufficient mental stability and acuity to warrant a position within the SCP organization. Cross-SCP warnings. It is recommended that SCP-368 be isolated from SCPs 529 and 530, as contact will almost certainly alarm all three SCPs. Addendum 022. On blank blank 2000 blank, while housed in Research Sector 15, SCP-368 began displaying unusual behavior. Instead of its normal routine of human interaction, grooming, and play, it began hovering over a photocopier, serial number blank, flattening itself whenever SCP personnel approached. Dr. Blank Blank, or 19-1425, placed SCP-368 into the photocopier and made a copy, upon which another sheet of paper of identical pattern but different hue emerged from the copier and promptly folded itself, a shape mimicking that of the original. SCP-368 and the new specimen, referred to as SCP-368 Alpha, resumed usual behavior. Since then, SCP-368 has displayed similar behavior at intervals varying between 2 and 4 years, while the copies have shown no such behavior. Though initially Overseer O-blank disallowed any employee from aiding in the reproduction of SCP-368, and Dr. blank was reprimanded for his action, remarkably high employee morale at Research Sector 15 led to the introduction of the progeny of SCP-368 at further SCP facilities. Whoops, didn't mean to click that. Oh, that's very nice. Zaladin! Hello, Zal. Welcome. I'm reading SCPs. I know I read a couple that RNG suggested. Let me think. Do I want to do randos now, or... It links directly to 2 more SCPs. Adorable origami burbs with sentience. Let's venture down this rabbit hole. I'm curious. Oh! SCP-529. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. No special precautions have yet proven necessary. Josie is quite affectionate, and at this stage is free to move about the lower levels of the facility. Staff are not permitted to feed cheese to her. She will become distressed if not given sufficient cheese. Description: SCP-529 is a small house cat, Felis catus, with gray tabby markings. Parts of the animal to the rear and the end of the rib cage appear to be missing. The body terminates sharply as if sliced in 2. In spite of this, the animal has no health problems and moves about as if its hindquarters were still in place. For example, walking takes place as usual, and sometime after feeding the animal, makes motions as if to void itself of waste matter. The cross-section does not display the interior of the animal, but appears pure black to the eye and absorbs all non-visible wavelengths of light. It is slightly yielding to the touch. Gently stroking of this area sometimes yields a positive reaction, purring and so on, but more usually leads to the creature turning on the agent, claws at the ready. Those scratched have experienced no anomalies. The hind regions do not appear to be invisible. A cursory examination will show that there are no hindquarters. DNA testing has shown the animal to be female. With a rating of 1173? This is one popular cat. And then the other one was 530. SCP-530. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. No special precautions have yet proven necessary. Carl is very calm and friendly, and at this stage is free to move about the lower levels of the facility. Carl is free also to interact with SCP-529, as the two have proved non-hostile toward each other as well. Staff are not permitted to feed SCP-530 anything other than his approved food twice daily or his approved treats during training. Description: SCP-530 appears to be a small dog in a constant state of physical alteration. Height typically varies between 20 centimeters and 30.5 centimeters at the shoulders. Width across the back typically varies between 7.5 and 18 centimeters. Length typically varies between 25.5 and 45.5 centimeters. Larger and smaller sizes have been recorded but are rare and do not last long. The coat of SCP-530 is also in a state of constant change. To date, 467 different hues have been recorded, as well as an unidentified number of patterns. The most extreme flux comes from the growth of absorption of additional limbs, noses, mouths, eyes, ears, and other body parts. While these typically do not last longer than 24 hours, a third eye located slightly left of center at the top of SCP-530's head has remained since approximately 1/2 hour after its discovery. Addendum 530-203A. Agent Blank Blank fed Carl a slice of deli ham of standard proportions in clear violation of dietary regimen. The resultant odor has been described variously as horrid and plant withering. Agent Blank Blank has been reprimanded. So, super shapeshifty doggo. Interesting. With a rating of only 200, as opposed to Josie. Let's see. Yeah, this is a tiny rabbit hole. It's because these are all old school cute SCPs. Dog, cat, yeah. Yeah. I mean, a cat would probably be tempted to scratch up any paper it saw. Right, so I guess now we go to random. SCP. Alright, we got... In contrast, we now got one of the later ones. SCP-69-26. That's the only time I'm gonna get it out. RNG, let's go. What are you saying? The birds aren't based on RNG? Alright. SCP-69-26. Object Class Euclid. Disruption Class Dark. Risk Class Notice. Again, I'm not terribly familiar with these designations. The Containment class, yes, but not the other ones. Special Containment Procedures. Annual containment efforts of SCP-69-26 is primarily managed using Foundation web crawlers designed to track social media reports of its activities. Reports of anomalous phenomena caused by SCP-69-26 are to be tracked, and witnesses are to be amnesticized appropriately. Description: SCP-69-26 is a humanoid entity resembling a balding, elderly man with a short white beard. SCP-69-26 always appears dressed in a manner somewhat resembling traditional depictions of Santa Claus, with additional articles of clothing worn in cold weather. Areas within a 25-mile radius of SCP-69-26 experience the following phenomena. Environmental. Decrease in local temperatures, enough to sustain the presence of ice and snow, and the appearance of partially drunk alcoholic beverages within local homes. Phenomena displayed in humans. Increased fatigue and idleness, often causing subjects to remain sleeping longer than usual. The inability to keep track of time consistently throughout the day. Severe headaches in subjects that drank alcohol the previous day, no matter how minimal the amount consumed. And feelings of melancholy and regret. Reasons vary between subjects. Additionally, SCP-69-26 has displayed various anomalous abilities, including instant teleportation between locations, manipulation and control of ice and snow, inducing alcoholic intoxication through physical contact, and the manifestation of holiday-themed or related beverages, eggnog, Irish cream, Coca-Cola. SCP-69-26 only uses these abilities to aid itself in its annual activities. SCP-69-26 manifests annually on the 26th of December in countries that celebrate the holiday Boxing Day. During such times, SCP-69-26 will travel between locations that have hosted social gatherings the night prior, specifically those containing uneaten foodstuffs and beverages left over from the night before. While there, SCP-69-26 will take part in recreational activities such as drinking, eating, and general relaxation. SCP-69-26 will demanifest at 12 a.m. local time on December 27th. Discovery log. Local phenomena resulting from SCP-6926's anomalous properties were first detected in the village of Blank, England on December 26, 1995. Due to the sudden drastic change in local weather, Foundation agents in the area were dispatched to investigate. SCP-6926 was discovered traveling between pubs in the area, joined by civilians partaking in a pub crawl that had begun the previous night. Interviews with witnesses revealed SCP-6926 to have become heavily intoxicated over the night, during which they made various references to a confidential event that took place on September 22nd the same year. Apparently that's a reference to another SCP. Interview log. The following is an improvised interview that was recorded during SCP-6926's sudden manifestation at Site-17's annual Employee Boxing Day gathering in 1996. Foundation personnel can be heard talking to one another over the sound of music. The room goes silent and the music stops, as personnel notice the presence of SCP-6926. Loud crunching can be heard from SCP-6926. Researcher Anu approaches. Wow, excuse me? Who are you? Hi, what's up? I'm Santa Claus. Yeah, what are you doing here? SCP-6926 continues eating cookies. Eating right now? Right. Any particular reason you're here, though? Food. You want some? No thank you. Researcher Anu gestures to personnel to alert security. So you're Saint Nick then? No, I'm Santa Claus. Well, not today at least. It's my day off. You don't seem quite jolly enough to be Santa Claus. SCP-6926 picks up a can of Coke and notices that it is warm. Frost forms around the can, and SCP-6926 smiles. I don't care. You know, it's strange. When I was a kid, I didn't believe in Santa. SCP-6926 looks at a researcher. SCP-6926 takes a sip of Coke. You're an idiot. Any other business? Probably finish off here. Go someplace else. You're kind of bringing down the mood here, buddy. Security personnel enter the room and approach SCP-6926. Both restrain SCP-6926 and escort them into the hallway. Shortly afterwards, both security personnel begin to stupor and suddenly collapse onto the floor. SCP-6926 re-enters the room. Hey, what are you? SCP-6926 grabs a bottle of whiskey from a nearby table. Lightweights. And then it disappears. Incredible. Rating of 27. For a newer one, that's respectable. It's just kind of amusing. Santa Claus on his one day off in the year. Now that's Santa. How about this one? Oh, SCP-5925. Object class safe, disruption class dark, risk class notice. Special containment procedures. SCP-5925 is to be contained in standard humanoid containment cell B5 of Site-118's Delta Wing. Personnel are not to directly or indirectly refer to SCP-5925 by any name, title, or designation other than its item number. No other measures are necessary to successfully contain him in his current state, and this will continue to be the case indefinitely. And apparently some bits require level 5 clearance, so we'll go back to those in a bit. Description: SCP-5925 is a humanoid which appears to be an elderly male of Northern European descent. Though SCP-5925 has the physique of a 70 to 80-year-old man, records that refer to SCP-5925 indicate the subject is far older. He is frail, friendly, charitable, and compliant with the Foundation's instructions. SCP-5925 has knowledge of the full name of all people it comes into contact with, despite having never personally met. It is also aware of current or past material desires of these individuals. Besides this and his lengthened lifespan, he has no other anomalous capabilities. We'll read the rest. SCP-5925 is considered an SU-class nomenclative hazard. Oh. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, good night, Swerve. Have a good rest. Thanks for coming. Alright. Yeah, this links back to SCP-4000. 4000? Yes, 4000, which is actually my absolute favorite. So I think I can expect what's going on here. Anyway. Considered an SU-class nomenclative hazard. However, previous attempts to contain SCP-5925 per Protocol 4000 SU have been deemed inadequate. As such, Protocol 5925 SU has been devised to forcefully associate SCP-5925 with a single title, specifically that of its item number. This protocol additionally requires familiarity with SCP-5925's item number, containment procedures, description, and appearance by as many Foundation personnel as currently available. The clearance level has thus been adjusted to reflect this, and SCP-5925's incomplete file is to be regularly circulated through junior researcher and security staff in all sites. As an additional measure, the entrance of Cell B5 is to be reinforced with iron plating. Following Incident 5925 Holly, the Containment class, Distribution class, Risk class, procedures, and description of this article have been altered in keeping with nomenclative association methods necessary for further containment. These alterations have been marked in blue for differentiation from the standard formatting. Then we read the description. The Discovery Log. SCP-5925 was discovered on September 22, 1995, during a performance of the 4000 Halloway procedure. A mistake occurred during the execution of the procedure. The specifics of this mistake have been omitted in keeping with Protocol 5925 SU. The procedure still resulted in expansion of the fireplace and a ladder descending from the chimney. However, this ladder did not lead to the place of the nameless oddities, and instead, SCP-5925 emerged from the chimney into the site. Notably, despite several members of personnel utilizing the same epithet to describe SCP-5925 in the moment of its appearance, none of them suffered any adverse anomalous effects. Additionally, upon the personnel referring to SCP-5925 by this epithet, it became docile and amiable. This is believed to be due to the cultural association of the epithet in question. SCP-5925 then escaped the facility by anomalous means, leaving behind gifts for all those present. The specifics of SCP-5925's escape have been omitted in keeping with Protocol 5925 SU. SCP-5925 was afterward given its current item number and designated as a Euclid-class entity. The mistake which led to SCP-5925's initial appearance was later replicated. Being prepared, personnel referred to SCP-5925 by its item number, and were successful in apprehending the subject. The relevance of SCP-5925's designation to the success of this operation was later discovered during its containment, and the initial draft of the 5925 SU protocol was enacted. This protocol was later expanded upon following the 5925 Holly incident, which is the following addendum. The following is an interview conducted on June 20th, 1996. The purpose of said interview was to establish the difference between SCP-5925 and the entities residing in the Grove of Games and Names. During this interview, Details pertaining to the nature of SCP-5925's status as an SU-class entity were revealed, leading to alterations of the 5925 SU protocol to more effectively contain the subject. Interviewed is 5925. Interviewer, Dr. Angelo. Angulo? Forward. SCP-5925 has shown to be more compliant and cognitive when interacting with only one individual directly. As such, this interview was conducted within Chamber B5. No other individuals were within the chamber during the interaction. However, 2 members of security personnel were present beside the chamber entrance for emergency assistance in the event of a nomenclative breach. Begin log. Good morning, SCP-5925. Well, if it isn't Maria. Yes, I remember. You wanted a proper chemistry set all through 4th grade. And I never did get it. No, my poor soul, no you didn't. But you were rather naughty, as I recall, and your mother Benilda, bless her, she wished she could have afforded it. How is she now? I actually came to ask you a few questions. We want to know how you differ from the others like you. Oh, I'm sorry, Maria, but I'm not certain of what you mean. When we first found you, you were trying to get somewhere, a place with people similar to you could say. I see now, I see. You mean the land of blank. Dr. Angulo winces at this. No effect was detected from this naming, and thus the interview proceeds. Yes, there are things we found there. It is dangerous for us to name them and the place itself. Well, I imagine it would be. They must be starving for names. Dreadful fate. Well, this clearly isn't the case for you. Of course not, Maria. I have no want for names, for I've collected many. Jolly ones, playful ones, rough ones, ancient ones, and still I collect more, like this new name of yours. It is cold and harsh, but it's mine now, and all that comes with it. When the others lost their names, why didn't you? I lost my fair share. I am not what I once was. Those times they split me into parts, but one makes do if one is to survive. Making reference to SCP-4666. 4666. And none of the others could hold on to some of their names like you did? I don't believe I ever said such a thing. There are a few still in the shadows causing trouble, the scamps. There is Blank, of course. You can't avoid but run into him come spring. Then there's Blank, Blank, and Blank. And Blank is always good for a laugh. What's wrong, Maria? You look ill. We shouldn't be having a conversation like this without further security. I'm sorry, it's not safe. My apologies, I did not mean to frighten you. I was simply reminiscing. Good times with fun names. Not like this one. Euclid. What kind of title is that? I'm sorry, what was that? Euclid. That is what I am now, yes? A Euclid? So broad, so meaningless. You have all kinds of Euclids. Dr. Angulo and SCP-5925's breath become visible in the air. What are you... SCP-5925. That is no name for me. SCP is a name for cruel, evil, terrible things. And so many of them, so varied. But it is mine now, and all that comes with it. Dr. Angulo stands abruptly and attempts to exit Chamber B5. The chamber door jams and is unable to open. Dr. Angulo repeatedly strikes the door. Open this now! There's been a breach! No need for that, Maria. I'm sure Jacob and Richard are already right on it. It may take them some time, though. Dr. Angulo crouches by the door, breathing into her hands. So cold. So fast. How? The cold has always been mine. The snow, ice, sleet, and, of course, the death that accompanies them. No matter my name, winter follows. As for how, I'm an SCP now. I am capable of many things, just as long as I am stuck in this box with you. Speaking of which, while I have you here, Maria, I must say I'm simply not fond of this name. I'd like another. Can I ask for your help in that? please. It doesn't have to be new. I would gladly take one of the old, just as long as it gets me out of this box. I have too much to do. Dr. Ungolo slumps backward, appearing to nearly lose consciousness. I promise the cold will cease, Maria. I wish you no harm, truly I don't. All names have power, and in your world the powers are rather grim. Hurry, your time grows short. Holly... What was that? The Holly King... The SCP-5925's body begins to change rapidly. Its hair and beard grow substantially. Its physique becomes much taller, but decrepit and starved. A green hood and robe appear on his body. A pair of cervidae antlers sprout from his forehead. A stained broadsword appears in his hands. The breaths of SCP-5925 and Dr. Ungolo becomes no longer visible, indicating a rise in temperature. SCP laughs strenuously. You are a clever one, Maria. Very sly, very naughty. To pick such an old name, one with such strict rules. And in June, no less. Yes, this name does me no good. Not for another 4 months at the very least. The doors to the chamber open. Security personnel enter, assisting Dr. Ungolo to stand. They then begin to escort Dr. Ungolo out of the chamber. May you have a merry midsummer, I suppose. And happy holidays. End log. Closing statement. SCP-5925's form reverted after 3 days. Prior to this, it created a crown of Aquifoliaceae ilex, commonly known as holly, and expressed the desire to gift this item to Dr. Ungolo as an apology for its behavior. And then... yeah, cervidae, antlers, that's a stag. Later analysis, stained broadsword in its hands. Later analysis of these stains suggests they are of tree sap, which may stem from repeated impacts against oak wood. Hello, Master Chaos, the Void Queen. Welcome, welcome. Ribbit, ribbit. Nice. I really like the nomenclative ones. They tickle the Sheesh. I don't know why it was so loud there, God. Sorry if it blew out, anyone's ears. Wait, what's nomenclature bad? Nomenclature is in regards to names. Anything that has to do with names and titles. And yeah, SCP-4000, go read it. It's so interesting. As soon as you read it, you'll understand a bit more. I think. I hope. Whew. I've done quite a fair share of talking, and it's already nearly 10:30 over here. Which, I need to take my meds. Forgot to do it before. It was a half hour before I started stream, so I was occupied with getting stream ready from that point. Da-da-da. I was wondering if I would be able to have coffee tonight, but it doesn't appear that was the case, so my beverage of choice was just flavored vitamin water. And then obviously, regular water besides. It's kind of a goofy looking picture. No offense to the guy, but... Calling it SCP made it evil funny. Okay, I think... Let me see if I can read one more. I think there was mention of... Yeah, SCP 4666. This looks like a spoopier one, with a rating of 1186. This must be a real good one. It's a bit lengthy, but... Oh no, it's very lengthy. Maybe not then. But I kinda want to read this one in my own time. Let's see if we can find a different one that's shorter. No. This one's pretty lengthy too. Ah. Sometimes the website does this, where if you click on random SCP, it doesn't actually take you anywhere, it just puts you at the same SCP page that you were before. Damn. Oh my god! Nairio! Thank you for the raid! Hello, hello! Yes, we're reading SCPs! I was just getting ready to read one more for the night, so you just made it. Hello, hello! How was your stream? What were you up to? For anyone new here, I'm Issy. I'm a magical froggy girl. And I just got back from a wondrous 5-day vacation. So I'm back into streaming as of tonight. I'm usually a variety streamer. I stream every Monday and Friday. So yeah, come be a lily pal today. Oh no, it's the SCP Foundation. I just got out of there. You won't take me alive! Or dead either, because I'm a ghost. Yeah, like I was saying, Oh, here we go. Here's a different one. Okay. Testing log. Okay, I can do this one. Alright. SCP-3132. Object Class Safe. Gotta head off, but figured I'd raid and say hello. Good night, Rio! Have good sleepies. Thank you for the raid! Ha 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 ha. You made a funny. Okay. SCP-3132. Object Class Safe. Updated Special Containment Procedures. As of... It's either January 5th or May 1st, 2017, Site 208 has been placed under strict Level W4 quarantine. All personnel transfers between Site 208 and all other sites are prohibited. All delivery of supplies is to be conducted by unmanned vehicles. No phone contact is to be made between any Site 208 personnel and the outside world. All personnel stationed at this site are to be reclassified as E-Class personnel and allowed to continue their duties as normal, with all wages and benefits increased by 2 stages as compensation. Oh dear. Original containment procedures. SCP-3132 is to be kept in a standard safe item locker in the center of a 6x6 meter storage closet. All testing involving SCP-3132 must be conducted in a room equipped with special sound absorbing lining. Testing of SCP-3132 on individuals with arthritis or other joint-related afflictions are currently prohibited. All SCP-3132-1 instances are to be housed in modified humanoid containment cells equipped with sound-absorbing lining. Description: SCP-3132 is a plaster replica of a human vertebra. SCP-3132 exhibits several anomalous effects on humans in its vicinity, proceeding in several stages. Stage 1. When a human is within 2.3 meters of SCP-3132, they will begin to experience mild auditory hallucinations. Subjects describe the sounds as similar to those made when a joint is popped. Well, that's a sound I'm very familiar with. The hallucinations immediately cease if the subject leaves the 2.3 meter radius. This stage lasts 10 to 40 minutes. Stage 2. Subjects within range of SCP-3132 after Stage 1 ends begin to experience major discomfort in their spinal joints. Most subjects will attempt to pop their back joints. If successful, subjects report significant relief. The discomfort ends after approximately 1 hour, whether the subject pops their back successfully or not. Stage 3. If the subject successfully pops their back joints during Stage 2, they proceed to this stage. During this stage, only the subject's spinal joints are able to pop. Other joints will not pop no matter how they are pulled. Of note is that vertebrae will only pop in sequence, either up from the L4 to L5 joint if the subject turns their torso clockwise, or down from the C1-C2 joint if counterclockwise. When popped from the top down, the vertebrae